we spoke about it. I've been thinking in my head that I'm thinking of it like squash. Like, we are the concentrate, pour in like what, a tenth or whatever of your drink, and then the listeners' opinions and comments is the water filling up the glass. You know what I'm saying?
That is a very weird way of putting it, but yeah,
we
sure.
are the espresso, as Kanye would say. So we have a lot to talk about again this week, Jay. I'm very excited. I think you're pretty stoked to get some thoughts off your chest as well.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, you are. Come on.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's just get right to it, Jay. AC Odyssey again.
Yeah.
Both been playing it. Do you want to give me an update of what we had a quick discussion earlier this week. I was asking you about I was struggling a bit, but we'll go on to that. But yeah, do you want to give us an update?
What, like on where I am?
Yeah.
Yeah, so last night I finished it entirely, got all the achievements for it.
Incredible. All the DLC.
For everything, yeah, the whole thing. All 93 achievements, however many it was.
This might be the biggest achievement list that we'll ever accomplish, because that is a hell of a lot of achievements.
Yeah, so the only other one that I think I came close to, and I know you're pretty close to, was Borderlands 1, which had the exact same gamer score. It was 1850.
Really?
Yeah, and I have 1830 on it. I'm one achievement away. And I have been for like 10 years. I just haven't bothered to finish it.
What have you got it on?
What do you mean?
What have you got it on 360?
Yeah.
What achievement is it?
I think there's like a certain drop from like the last boss in the last DLC, the Claptrap boss.
Yeah.
I think there's a certain drop that I honestly, I must have done for like 20 plus hours. It never dropped for me.
Oh, okay, but fair enough. So yeah, not going to pursue that. Fair play.
I mean, I could probably go back to it, but I don't
know. I've just seen I've actually sold my copy of the Game of the Year edition, which is a bit mad for the 360. But I would have seen if we could have got that. But so apologies about
that. Yeah, sorry.
Fair. That's really annoying. So you finished it?
I did, and oh man, it's so nice.
You feel relieved? What's the thought?
It's weird. It was a mixture of relief and also sadness of like I'm probably not going to play it that much anymore.
Which is natural. You have.
Although I know I'm playing it right now, so I don't know.
What are you doing at the moment?
I'm farming. So the way this game plays now, I guess, is that you can just spend the time to grind to get the perfect build for like how you want to play, I suppose, or like like more damage essentially. Because I can still do New Game Plus on this if I really wanted to.
Yeah,
which I'm actually tempted to do because I'm only level 78. So
I didn't even know that was an option.
Yeah, New Game Plus.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm only level 78 now, so if I want to get to 99, I might have to do New Game Plus.
So what is the max level?
I think it's 99 from what I've seen.
Okay, and. So, is New Game Plus open as soon as you finish the story?
Yeah, as soon as you finish the main story, it's like, right, if you want to do New Game Plus, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to.
So, because the game seems to do a really good job of scaling up with you, despite the different area levels, how does New Game Plus work in that respect?
Let me look at it really quick. It actually gives you, I think, like an explanation.
Is it like a kind of, if you want to just do
not.
The story again, maybe different option?
I think you keep all your abilities, you keep all your gear, but I think it just basically just resets everything else. I want to say it might actually just reset your abilities. I'm not sure. No, it shouldn't reset your abilities. There is a description. It does tell you if you hover over it. I think on the main menu it should tell you. I think.
Okay, can you pick Cassandra or Alexios at the start?
Here we go. Allows you to restart the game from the beginning while keeping most of your progression. Your resources, levels, abilities, weapons, gear, ship upgrades, as well as the lieutenant acquired from the store and the Ubisoft club will carry over to your new playthrough. So, yeah, just restart the missions again.
Do you have to stick with the character you chose?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, okay, understood. Okay. And so you've thoroughly enjoyed the DLCs, or?
Yeah, that's the thing. I really don't want to say too much because I know you've still got, plenty to go.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like, I mean, even they're very memorable. Like, you're not going to forget these anytime soon. Like, it's just such a ride. Like, really is.
Okay, interesting. I never really heard that much reception about the DLCs. I
I'm
think that's because
surprised, to be honest.
yeah, well, yeah, I haven't. And to be fair, DLCs do get generally less kind of showcase
Yeah,
than
I'm actually
the
kind of
main
disappointed in
game.
myself for like not having done the DLCs for other AC games.
They're all right, to be fair.
Thing is, though, I can't see myself going back to do them again.
Is there any ambition, Jay, to get all the achievements for any of the old AC games, or does
Yeah,
that not?
part of that is in me, but not really at the same time.
Okay.
Like, it took
If
me
you
105 hours to do this one, so I don't know.
Wow, what, the DLC?
All of it, the whole thing, from
Jay,
start to
I'm like
finish.
I'm like 55 hours in. I haven't even finished the main game
Yeah,
yet.
I know. It's because you're taking your bloody time, aren't you?
I know. I love it. I love it.
Thing is, though,
It's just
you can't really play as much as I can, right?
yeah, that is true. Yeah,
I think
and
that's a big part of it. Is that
and
most of my day literally is wake up, play, shower, play, eat, play, eat,
sleep, play. Yeah,
shower, play, bed. Like, I think I'm doing most of the time. I think I'm on average like 9 to 10 hours a day of playing the game.
yeah,
So in reality, if you play this game 10 hours a day for 10 days, you're pretty much going to do everything, aren't you?
yeah, yeah. That's
But if
fair.
you can't do that
Fair.
much, then it'll take a lot longer. But I think, I don't know. I feel like part of me would probably get more annoyed or more anxious if it took me longer to do. Like, I feel like I played this at just the right pace for me. Like, I don't know if it's different for you.
I mean, I'm playing at my pace, and I'm loving it. I
Yeah,
think
I think
it sounds
it
like
really is just all about like your pace, right?
yeah, 100%. And I
Yeah.
think giving you the option to play at your pace, like I think it's been amazing that you've been able to play at your pace, and I've been able to play at my pace, and there seems to be no negative impact in that respect.
Yeah, I think if I played it too slow or if I played it too quickly, I'd probably like, I really am that sort of Goldilocks gamer, I guess you could call it. Like,
What,
right in the middle, like not too quick, not too slow, like right in the middle.
sure, sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, yeah, fair. What if I could give you a few quick add-ons slash DLCs to maybe just take a look at? I think I admire the Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood DLCs, but they're not very very substantial.
Oh,
And I
I think I know
to
what you're
be
gonna say.
to be fair, the Lost Archive and Revelations is perhaps better than expected.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed 3 is a big one. The Tyranny of King Washington is pretty good. It's got some superpower stuff in it, which is
I say,
cool.
I feel like I kind of need to retract what I said last week about Origins a little bit.
Okay.
I think it's a bit higher up on my list.
Yeah, sure.
The more I've thought about it, I think it's slightly up there, and also because Origins sort of like, or Odyssey and Origins are obviously like so
Very
close
similar.
together. Yeah, so
Yeah. Yeah, I think what it is, Jay, is that there's just that missing key motivating factor in Origins, which is that while we like the main characters, they're just not that, what would you call it? Tempting, I guess. Like, you don't particularly want to see the story fold out. You will, because the gameplay is good, but and it for me, despite the fact that Odyssey is probably a bigger map, Origins did feel more bloated and more spread out. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but that's how I feel about it.
yeah.
So some more DLC. Tyranny of King Washington's good. Nice alternative history timeline. Freedom Cry is really good from what I remember, mate. You play as, I want to say Adewale. Maybe I'm butchering that name. But
Okay,
you play
that
as
does sound familiar, actually.
Edward Kenway's first mate. That's cool. Just going through my head now. Can't even remember if Unity and Rogue had any. Oh, Unity did. Dead Kings, I think, and some other. I would go Jack the Ripper, but you said you tried that.
No, I need to, I think I will give that a shot at some point.
And I wouldn't bother with Hidden Ones and Cursed Pharaohs if if you didn't extremely like.
I was going to say, apparently there's something in there that's to do with the story, quite major in
Oh,
the story, in
what,
Hidden
Cursed of
Ones,
Pharaohs?
or one. I
Oh
think it might be in one of those, but
gosh,
from
maybe if it. If it's
Honestly,
Curse of
I
Pharaohs,
don't really want to say too much because it might spoil it for you, to be honest.
well, if it's Curse of Pharaohs, I might have missed that completely because I don't even know if I finished it. I
Oh,
just
there
got
you
the
go.
achievements
I don't know.
and ran.
Yeah, I think
Um,
to be like the way I felt about finishing this is the end of this DLC story wise sort of gives me enough info for me to know what's happened before. Like it
sure.
sort of gives you everything again, kind of. So I'm like, right,
Yeah, yeah,
I don't
yeah.
even need to bother with the old ones because I've just gone right to the end and it's told me everything that's happened before anyway.
Yeah,
So yeah, I don't need to worry too much.
yeah. Kind of where I am at with AC Odyssey then. So, sorry, no, actually, let's just finish with you. So, you finished the story, you
Mm.
finished the DLCs, you might still be playing it, and you've got all the achievements, which is cool. And what do you think of the achievement list, Jay?
I would say don't look at it.
Okay,
Because
understood.
it'll definitely, like, if you read into it too much, it'll definitely spoil it.
I hate achievement lists like that, dude. There's secret achievements to prevent that, I assume.
Yeah, there are some secret ones, but actually, that's probably right. The secret ones are probably the ones I'm talking about. Actually,
Oh, of course, because you can't tell after it's unlocked. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I didn't actually check properly, but yeah, I imagine. Yeah, actually, yeah, you're probably right. The ones that are secret ones, I think, are the spoilery ones, so that makes sense.
Okay, you talking about for the DLC
Yeah,
and the main game? Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay.
I'd probably just say the DLC actually.
So now that you've completed it, Jay, and you've had a bit more time to think about the game, what where does it stand for you?
It's definitely number one.
Really,
I
like out
mean,
there without question.
I think I need to go back and finish Syndicate, like the DLC or whatever potentially.
Okay,
But
sure.
Syndicate is definitely like still holds a place in my heart for how good it was.
Yeah,
But this is like another level. This is just insane. Like
yeah. A lot of people, Jay, as we do, perhaps stick a lot of credit to Assassin's Creed 2. But I think when you go back and actually play it, it's quite obvious
yes,
that it's a relic of its time,
definitely.
and I think it's playable. No doubt, it's playable and enjoyable. And if you haven't played any Assassin's Creed games, I would still recommend going
Oh,
back to the first one.
start from one. Do not ever go straight to a new one. Jesus.
Yeah, yeah. And even though that's super daunting for a lot of people,
Yeah, because it'll
considering how
take
long
you
they are.
about 1,000 hours to get to where we are now. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's really worrying, isn't it? I think Assassin's Creed 2 maybe gets a like. Do you know what it is, Jay? I think Assassin's Creed 2 was just so much better than we expected, and was better at the time. What I mean is, I
Yeah, no,
think
it was massive for the time.
yeah, it was really quite incredible for the time. Whereas Odyssey maybe is not as incredible, but still pretty incredible.
Mm.
If that makes sense. Like the jump's not quite as much,
Yeah,
but
which I don't know how much of a jump it's going to be to Valhalla. That's the thing.
yeah, that's a great point, mate.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's going to be. Actually, I'm going to talk about that in a little while anyway. So
Yes, yes. So, give you a bit of background on where I am at. For the people, I'm still going through very OCD. I'm 55 hours or so through, just going through each area, clearing all the locations, doing some story missions as well. Every time I have a podcast come up on my feed that I need to listen to, for me, that's pretty much it. Okay, Nick, you need to go clear locations now while you listen to the podcast. And I've got to give some credit where credit's due. The Spotify app on Xbox One, mixed with the ability to flick between Netflix and Now TV to back to Odyssey, it's just providing such a great experience for me where I can just put on a podcast on Spotify, turn up the volume from the game to Spotify and have that however much I want. Be able to pause the podcast whenever I want if I go to a story quest, and
yeah, I
just
was
be
going to
able
ask
to.
you that actually.
Yeah,
Like whether like you have to pause it to be able to listen to the story. I imagine you will, because I
yeah,
can't do podcasts and story at the same time. It's close to impossible.
yeah. No, it's all about listening to every detail
Yeah,
on story
100%.
missions and
Especially
stuff.
in this game. My God, like the detail is so important in this game.
Yes, yeah.
Like more than
So
you actually realize. It's insane.
probably, and yeah. So every time I finish listening to a podcast, it's kind of back to story mode sort of thing.
Mm.
But yeah, so just really enjoying it. I think I told you earlier this week I had a bit of a dry spell where I was clearing out areas and I was like, okay, I'm getting a bit run down now. I need to do some story because this is. But to be fair, I had played the game for about 10 hours that day or something crazy. So naturally, I think you're going to get a little bit bored or a little bit fed up after
Yeah,
that.
there definitely are parts where I've sort of, been like, I need to come off this now, but actually more to do with me maybe getting a headache than anything else.
Having a
Like,
break.
the only time I ever feel like coming off this, like most of the time I come off this and be like, I just want to play it right now. Like I just want to wait. I want to literally the moment I put my head down on my pillow, I'm like, I want to wake up. I want to wake up. I want to wake up.
Yeah.
I'm just like so amped to play it again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I can't keep away from
I
it.
agree. I'm waking up and I'm like, yeah, man, let's go. I'm down.
Very motivated. I was kind of annoyed. I was thinking to myself last night, like, what am I going to do now? Like, I'm just going to go back into that like boring sort of like, oh, what do I do? Sort of situation.
Yeah.
Thinking what else to play at this point, but I don't know.
I think it's provided a hell of a lot of content for you though, Jay, in these last few days.
Like, every day has been so enjoyable.
And it's been good for you. I think you could do with Cyberpunk being out, I think, at this point.
Yeah. Or anything like that we're looking forward to, I guess. I think we're going to be seeing some of these big games a lot sooner than we think, I think we'll be seeing most of these big games in October and November time. I think you'd be surprised. I think they're going to come out earlier just because people are going to, I don't know, actually. I mean, I don't know, but potentially.
Also depends on when the consoles launch. I think that will influence them as well. Yeah, so Jay, while we're talking about Odyssey, I think we're still both fairly in love with it. Obviously, like I'm at different points to you are. By the way, we will absolutely have a small spoiler session for all the story moments and DLC. I think it's probably best now to wait till I've finished the whole thing before we do that, Jay, because if not, like we'll start talking about the story and then you'll be like, oh yeah, but you haven't played the DLC, so I'll finish the game.
That's kind of how I feel now. I'm so afraid of saying anything because it's like there's so much I wanted to say already, but I just can't. You're
doing very well, Jay. You're doing very well.
The restraint, the willpower.
Exactly. Outstanding, some might say. So I'll finish the game. We'll probably get all the achievements. It sounds doable, which is great. It sounds like it's not really, really hard, which is also great. And we will then have a small spoiler discussion where we can talk about all the story elements, and we'll obviously give you a fair warning. But just a few things, Jay, a few specific things I wanted to talk to you about that we didn't get time to talk about last week. What are your thoughts on the music, Jay?
Yeah, I was actually weirdly thinking about it last night. I feel like when I was playing the Syndicate, the music was like definitely part of it.
Yeah.
And I think whenever you think back to most Assassin's Creed, you think of like that one tune. Just the music does change, doesn't it?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah. I think I'll probably remember that. I'll probably be humming this bloody Assassin's Creed music quite a bit in the future, just because it's like I've listened to it so much.
Yeah. What do you think about the sea shanties?
Yeah, I turn those off instantly.
Really?
I hate them. They suck.
Oh, no.
They felt normal in Black Flag. I was like, oh, a sea shanty, that makes sense. But in this, I'm like, no, I don't like it.
Interesting.
Not even a little bit. I like the moment it happens. I'm like, no, big fight, and I just turn it off. Like press left on the D-pad, it's gone.
That's so funny because I thought as soon as they happened, I was like, that's so awesome that they've done that small detail. Okay, interesting.
Didn't like it.
Okay, and then also thoughts, Jay. We didn't actually discuss perhaps one of the coolest gameplay. Sorry, let me get this right in my head.
Yeah.
Evolution of gameplay mechanics in Assassin's Creed history, which is that Eagle Vision went from like being able to see the world and kind of see through.
Yeah,
form.
So it's that like weird bluish type of hue that everything came up with a gold or red, right? Back in the day. Yeah.
And it's gone from that to an actual eagle.
So that was in Origins, wasn't it?
Yes.
And it was in Unity?
No.
See, weirdly, in my mind, it was in Unity, but obviously not.
No, just Origins.
Yeah, okay.
Don't you think that's like the coolest thing ever?
Yeah, I actually have a little bit of an issue with it. Only that I feel like it says whenever you get a sync point that the
His range
Eagle's his
improv.
range or like his ability to be able to see things becomes better,
Yeah.
but it's like it's still a bit iffy sometimes. Like I'll be hovering over a point where it's like literally cannot move it anymore, and it still won't pop up. Like you kind of have to move to actually like see the thing what it actually is. It doesn't really go through buildings as much as it should do, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with
That
that.
can be a bit annoying, but that's like one of my only real like you know
In fact, I actually
gripes,
think
I guess.
it works better in Origins from what I can remember that the
Yeah.
Eagle did.
Okay.
But I just thought it was. Do you know what it is, Jay? The ability to see these beautiful landscapes at any point, like at any point you want, and just be able to go as high as you want, and it fulfills that OCD element where you need to know your surroundings.
Oh
And
yeah.
you can quickly, just with the press of a button, you can learn the entire island's kind of landscape and know where you're headed, where the enemies are, etc. And I think it's just brilliant.
Yeah, no, that'll be a big like part of the next load of them, I guess. Hopefully, I'm just
Yes, I
curious how
imagine
they're gonna incorporate that after Valhalla, because it makes sense of Valhalla with the crow and like Odin, I guess. But
yes.
I don't know how else they're gonna do that. Whether it's gonna keep with the eagle theme or what, I don't know.
Yeah, I imagine that the crow will replace the eagle.
Just in the next one, but after that, I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah,
Actually, I had to have a think about where they're going to go after Valhalla, even though Valhalla isn't even out yet.
Well, I hope we both agree, right? They stick with this era formula for a few more games, right?
Would you? Oh, you mean like the way with all the loot and stuff, or do you mean like the time?
Yeah.
No, I'm talking more about the time frame. Like in terms
okay,
of what
understood.
year, like what's it going to be based around? I'm thinking it's probably going to be like. Well, I mean, I'm like Ghost of Tsushima's sort of taken over the whole like, Japanese thing. It's kind of annoying me a little bit.
Yes, I can understand that frustration. But what I would say, Jay, is that even if the Japan Assassin's Creed is next year, for argument's sake, I still think that's
They'll have to do it very differently, won't they? They'll have to do it like
but
enough of a difference.
Unless Ghost of Tsushima has sizable DLC that is all the way up to January or something, I think most people would have gone out of their memory by the time that Assassin's Creed comes out. Moreover, you're thinking about, the release of The Last of Us Part 2, Cyberpunk, these games will dominate.
Yeah, there's be a lot of things coming out. Yeah, you're right.
So even if it does come out next year, I think that they will do it differently enough and it would have been long enough. But I still hold that's got to be the last one they do because they know how much people want it. Maybe they can't get it right. Maybe that's why they aren't doing it,
I don't know. Yeah,
it
might have been too late. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know.
They might just go in like the complete opposite direction and do it like in a very weird, different time. I don't know.
When we discuss spoilers, Jay, for Odyssey, we should have a speculation of our top 5, what we think / want for the next Assassin's Creed games in terms of what history.
I've already thought about it, so I'll be able to tell you about that once we get to it.
Okay. I also want to take the opportunity, Jay, to point out one of the issues I had with Origins was how forgetful the side quests were, and then I would like to compliment how great the side quests are in Odyssey.
Oh, they're bloody brilliant! Like I remember. You could probably tell me one right now and be like, "Yep, I remember that." Like, but you told me one in Origins, I'd be like, "What? What are you on about?" Like, I'd have no idea. Like, they're so memorable and so like everyone has like a really unique. Like, weirdly, even Cassandra in the game makes a point at one point. She's saying, "Oh, all these people keep telling me to go here and grab this thing and kill these people. Like, I'm kind of getting a bit bored of it." Like, she actually says that in the game. But I think they do it in such a way that it's not that boring anymore, thankfully.
Agreed. I also think that the main quests themselves are really good in the sense that they somehow have the perfect length, where as soon as you start thinking like, "Oh, I'm kind of bored of this quest," it's done. It's over.
Yeah, no, I thought that as well, actually. None of them are too long, none of them are too short.
No.
They're just, again, Goldilocks. They're the formula, man. They've figured it out.
Yeah, 100%.
All they've got to do is copy and paste and just do something slightly different. That's all they've got to do.
Viking skin. Yeah, no, I'm with you. And lastly, these is very specific. I don't know if you remember these, Jay, but just after the podcast last week, the show last week, I discovered the Pirate Islands and Odyssey, and I was like, these are the
Yeah,
best
so I'm
looking
not
islands in the
quite
game.
sure what this means. Like, I might know what it is, but I'm not. What I don't think I've heard it called Pirate Islands before. What's this?
So there's a couple of islands in the game.
Yeah.
Where if you hover over some of the islands, they're collected under a name.
Okay.
Like a few of them. So you've got the Obsidian Islands, which is where the Battle of 100 Hands takes place, and then just above that is the Pirate Islands, which is like Kleos and another one.
Oh, sure.
And I just like found them, and I was like, this is instantly becoming my Xbox One background because it's beautiful, and it was like the biggest because they're literally run by pirates. It was literally like the biggest.
I see what you mean. Yeah. Okay.
Like, oh my god, I love that game so much.
Oh, so the whole island is where there's just like pirates. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I know what you mean now.
Yeah, and it was
is it
just
bringing that one island, or is there more? I swear there was another one.
I think there's two.
Yeah, I might have to check that.
But they just brought back Black Flag memories, and I thought they looked amazing as well. So,
Agreed.
yeah. So sorry that I've spoken so much in your segment, Jay, but I would like to also discuss Elder Scrolls Blades. So, Jay, Mark, your dad sent another email in kindly.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to go through it. I think it's a good time to go through it. Hi guys, love the latest podcast. Thanks, Mark. Really interesting hearing your thoughts on mobile gaming. I don't think Nick realizes just how good the new games are. Correct? I've struggled to find good games, but the ones coming out now are superb. If you have an iPhone, you can get trophies using Game Center with Apple. That definitely interested me. And I know Nick has the iPhone 11, so you can play Skyrim game Blades, which obviously we saw a couple of years ago now when Fallout 76 was revealed, I believe. At E3, and this came out of early access a few days ago as the time of sending. Mark sent in the email.
I was going to say, I remember hearing about Blades like years ago, and then it sort of disappeared, right?
Yeah,
so
well,
I didn't realize. I thought it was fully released years ago.
I think it is now, but I agree with you, mate. Like the timelines of these things are just nuts.
Yeah.
Mark says it's the best mobile game he's ever played.
Okay.
So you can also connect your Xbox or PS4 controller to your iPhone using Bluetooth.
Yeah, you can do that with quite a lot of games, I think, right?
Yeah, and I did it, Mark, and I was so amazed by how easy it was. However, I as far as I'm aware, Blades doesn't actually support the controller. I could be wrong about that. But it's super easy, and I was really impressed by it. I'm not sure my Xbox controller does do Bluetooth, though, because of how old it is. I could be wrong about that again, but I don't think it does, which is sad. But yeah, he also sent through a list of iOS controller-compatible games, and you can play Fortnite and Call of Duty on your iPhone with a controller, which is great. And he's also loving Galaxy on Fire HD 2. So thank you for sending in the email, Mark. I wanted to give you a heads up that I downloaded Blades after your email, and I've been playing it for a week straight. I've got a few main takeaways to talk about. Jay, I assume you'll download it and try it at this, or are you not bothered?
I'm not bothered, not really, no.
Fair. Interesting, okay. So, obviously, I'm a huge fan of Elder Scrolls. I'm open to mobile versions, especially if Bethesda are directly developing them. And I downloaded it. I really liked it for the first 2 hours, and then it became a kind of wait till the things build and wait till the quests are rejigged or whatever, and it just became that time constraint game. And I understand that's how mobile games work. That's how they get money. I don't much care for that. I want a game like Odyssey where I can just dive into all the content straight away. But for what it's worth, being a bit too negative here, I thought the game looked great. I thought it controlled well. I thought the core gameplay loop was great, and I think that I can totally see why you'd sink so much time into it. It a bit repetitive.
Yeah. So what actually is the sort of gameplay? Is it like a campaign, or what is it?
You run a town.
Okay.
First person, and then you just go on quests in woods and caves, and you basically very, very linear path, and you're just going through to complete your objectives, find loot, and then return to the town. And
Okay.
going on the quest and returning to the town is just a click of a button. And the
Right.
load time's really quick from what I could tell. And I was really impressed. My iPhone didn't overheat. It didn't use the battery up loads. Like, I was really impressed by how it ran. Again, it's just... I also can get... I don't quite know, Mark, how the Game Center works, so I don't quite know how you can link
Yeah, I
that
think
with
you have
trophy.
to. So Game Center, I think, only works on certain games. Like there's only certain games I think that it applies to. I want to say it's
Okay.
like most of them now. I think you have to have some sort of like achievement or trophy thing to actually like upload a game if you want to even like sell it on the App Store anymore.
Oh, okay.
I think usually if you just go to the App Store and check the game, it should say underneath it whether it's compatible or not.
Yeah. Okay,
But
got
I was afraid you didn't know about Game Center. Game Center's been around since like iPhone, since the beginning of iPhone. I want to say.
I think I did know about it. I just didn't.
You weren't
guess
that
I just,
fast.
yeah, wasn't
Yeah,
that
makes
fast.
sense.
But
Makes sense.
I did turn it on for Blades, but I don't think it's compatible. I don't think. But the main takeaway was, Jay and Mark, was that at the end of the day, why not just buy a Switch and play Skyrim on that on the toilet?
Yeah, very true. I mean, I guess because if you've already got a phone, it's cheaper, right?
True, and it was free, which is great.
Yeah.
And obviously, they do kind of, look at these nice shiny chests you can buy, which is understandable. It's a free game. But yeah, like, I guess my question is, with the Switch now out and the technology developing in that area, why play a substandard version of Skyrim on your phone when you can just have a Switch and play Skyrim the whole game?
Yeah.
Now, obviously there is differences. I think the phone is way easier to carry around than the Switch in your pocket, of course. I think it's quicker to quickly start up and jump into, I imagine, as well. And it's free, unlike a Switch and a version of Skyrim. But yeah, I guess the question is, again, like, why... I think it has to be... I don't know, man. I'm seeing a little bit of the gaps crossing at this point, and
You can actually make a good comparison between, like, why would you buy a Witcher 3 on Nintendo Switch when you can buy it on PS4 or Xbox?
And they're better.
Yeah, because like,
yeah,
it's it's the same thing. I think it's more just to do with
convenience.
Yeah, more to just convenience, I guess. Like, if it's more convenient for you to play something on mobile than it is on Switch, then get it on mobile. If you haven't got, so you don't want to pay 200 quid for a Switch, then just get it on mobile. I mean, it depends on obviously how casual. I feel like most people who play mobile games are usually a bit more casual in gaming. Like, you're not going to see like a pro player playing a mobile game in a tournament,
Yeah, 100%.
And you're not gonna see someone who's like really. I mean, I'm really into games, and I'll still play mobile games, but they're not like the enjoyment I get out of it isn't the same I get out of playing AC Odyssey.
Yeah.
It doesn't compare. Like, it's just different. It's just more of a quick thing, jump in and out, couple 10 to 15 minutes, and then I'm done, kind of thing.
Yeah, you're right. I think we'll see how the industry evolves and how these markets evolve. But I respect Blades a lot. Thank you for the recommendation.
There's a hell of a lot of money in mobile games. There's like billions of dollars in mobile games.
Yes, 100%.
There's so much more than you think. They do make a hell of a lot, but it's only because 100%. I think that's mainly the Eastern market, I want to say.
Well, the thing that interests me the most about the size of the mobile game market is I want the industry to tap into that in the core game market. Like Amy, this the main creative director for the Uncharted. Amy Hennig.
Okay.
She was saying in an interview like last year or something that I was listening to that like there is a huge. We could talk about this for ages, right? But there, like, you have gamers like me and you, Jay, and then you have what we call casual gamers. Yeah. And then you've probably got another genre which is like really casual gamers, which is
and there's definitely a scale, 100%. And I find myself like shifting on that scale somewhat. Well, it actually depends on the game I'm playing most of the time.
Well, the people who download iOS games, right? They are really casual gamers. Yeah. And they're gonna like look at Odyssey and be like, "What are you playing a stupid video game for?" And it's like, yeah, but your Candy Crush game is like similar in terms of the gameplay loop. You're addicted to it
most of the time.
And then you've got the kind of what I would consider the moving margin, right? Which is, I think the Call of Duty FIFA players every year are actually moving more and more into being actual gamers like me and you.
Yeah, I think it's because they're growing up. They're becoming from kids into adults, right?
Well,
I guess
hopefully.
you could say.
But
And
like,
usually as you get older, you get obviously more of a mature mind and you feel like you want to expand and
True.
learn more, hopefully, if they're
True.
smart people.
Well, some of the people I speak to on Xbox, like, it was very surprising because they were all talking about like, oh, what game should I get next? And I was assuming because they all basically play Call of Duty and Warzone, right? And a bit of Red Dead 2. And then one of them was like, yeah, I'm going to get Odyssey, I think. So I really liked Origins. And I was like, I get that Assassin's Creed's pretty mainstream still, but that is still quite surprising.
To me, AC is sort of like, is it that mainstream?
Sure.
I guess it's like just below that mainstream in my head, but I don't know. It could be. I mean, it does sell a lot, so maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I consider it lower than Call of Duty and that, but
yeah, but
yeah,
only just. Only just.
100%. Thank you for your email, Mark. Hopefully that's giving you some feedback on Blades. I think it's time we move into the news with my Scottish accent you want me to do.
Oh, God, I was waiting for it.
I think it's time to talk about Fallout 76 and Anthem.
Do it.
All right.
Do it.
Because this Scottish accent's coming out a lot better than I thought it would.
It's not bad.
You know what I mean? That's pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
All right. So, without further ado, man,
God,
I'm basically doing Kevin. That's not bad, man. That's not bad.
Pretty good.
I'm basically Kevin Bridges. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
sure. He is. Jay, do you like Kevin Bridges?
I do. I like him a lot. Yeah.
Oh, he's hilarious. Okay, we've got a lot of news to talk about, Jay. So let's smash back right into it.
Hell of a lot. Yeah.
Hell of a lot. I've got 2. You've got 3. Not a competition, but I'm just going to go through mine first and see your thoughts. That's okay. Although Jay, no, yeah, it's cool. We have so much to talk about. Okay, so first thing I want to say, Jay, I saw this again, I think just after the show last week, and I wanted to just get your opinions on it. I think we discussed before, what's the future of Fallout 76? Like, is it going to have another roadmap this year? What's going on? So, fortunately, for the players of the game, it does. And I thought it was really interesting that Bethesda came out with this plan, and I want to get your thoughts on it. So I'm not going to dive into the whole thing, but basically Bethesda came out with a Fallout 76 2020 roadmap, and it was really interesting. It's more free content. Some of it's more substantial than others. It includes, like, just broadly, like, new factions, new expeditions, new gameplay things, public teams, being able to find teams, new levels, and blah 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 blah. Kind of what I want to talk about, Jay, was the fact that Bethesda continued to support this game, which I think is great.
Yeah, it's almost a little bit like how the people with Anthem kind of are slightly.
Right.
Like they're really trying. They're still trying really hard because they know they've got a good thing on their hands. It's just they didn't quite get it right the first time around.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm actually like Bethesda really impressed me with how they're making this look. Like this, it annoys me that 76 didn't do well. Like it sort of left a bit of a bad taste in my mouth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel if this game was released as like a normal Fallout game rather than an online game, I would have loved this way more. They should have saved this for an actual normal, like, campaign, the next Fallout 4 type game. I really do think that. I would have enjoyed it way more.
Are you saying that because you would enjoy this many updates to the single-player Fallout game?
Yeah, are you kidding me? This is like, can you imagine making a Fallout game that's slightly smaller and then just adding things on throughout the year? I feel like that'd be pretty good, right?
No, 100%. I
Like
think
adding new areas, like it really is just like big DLC, I guess, right? I don't
100%.
know. I don't
Yeah.
know.
No, I agree. I guess the question is, I think technically it works better, and you have more longevity if it is a multiplayer game, traditionally speaking.
Mm.
And I completely agree with what you're saying, Jay. Like, if Fallout 76 had stuck the landing, me and you would be going ape about this roadmap, right? We'd be like,
Yeah,
oh my god, we can dump another 50 hours into
I
this game. We've
actually
already put in.
forgot about the perk system in this game. That really interested me. The way they did perks in this, like with or like trading cards almost, like you kind of had like cards that you could like level up almost. Like that's sort of a really cool idea. I really wish they would have. Like I would go back and play this just to see what it's like, but I think you have to have a subscription, right?
No, that's optional.
That is optional, right? Okay,
But you need the subscription to have a private server.
right, okay.
Yeah. And
Hmm.
I do you know what it is, Jay? After that Wastelanders DLC update came out, I was seriously considering going into this game. But then after the responses and reviews came out, the overall kind of consensus was, yeah, no, it's improved a lot. It's just still not an 8 or a 9. It's
Yeah.
still, and I can't justify 300 hours in a game that I'm not going to love, you know?
Yeah, I think also I'm not a massive fan of games. I even have this problem with Borderlands 3 where they'll only have an event that lasts, a month or two, but then you can't ever get the stuff that you could possibly get during that event again.
Sure, and we've
Like
already missed a lot.
if they were events that happened like yearly that I were guaranteed to happen every year, like they do in Overwatch, I'd be pretty happy about that.
Yeah.
But that doesn't. I'm pretty sure that's not what happens.
But I assume you're not bothered about that in Borderlands 3 because you're able to dive into all the updates, whereas in Fallout 76 we've both already missed God knows how many of these seasonal
Yeah,
events.
exactly. We've missed so
Yeah.
many already.
Yeah, no, I completely get you. I just wanted to give a shout out to Bethesda because despite it being broken and whatnot at launch, I do think that they are supporting the game as they
Yeah, I
said
mean,
they would.
I'd like to know exactly what the numbers are and how that
100%.
helps or how they're sustaining that. Like whether that because I think I even thought a little bit about how this kind of feels like almost. I think a lot of game companies or even just companies in general tend to bring out something quite small that can potentially have a lot of money spent on it to then fund their next project.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling this was released to be able to fund the next Fallout.
Well,
Like they've got a small team keeping this running, and then they've got their larger team working on something else.
correct. My question to you, Jay, do you think this game is earning enough money for Bethesda to warrant these massive free DLC updates?
They're free.
Yeah.
Oh, it must be. I reckon there's enough. There's microtransactions in this, isn't there?
Yeah.
So that's where they're getting their money from. You'd be surprised the amount of money someone will pay, not realizing that they're buying all these little things over and over again. And it'll just add up.
Sure.
And it's so addicting to do. So yeah, I reckon they're making a lot more money than you think.
Okay, fair.
They're probably making like a good amount on this, I'd say.
Yeah, no, our seasons of Fallout 76 are going to be free for all players. And we may add extra Fallout First bonus rewards, which is the subscription we were talking about. They're talking about Season 1, but I've got no idea what the seasons are talking about in that. Are they talking about PvP? I don't know, but...
I think the refresh, when it says refresh with like a nuclear sign,
yeah,
that makes me think that they like wipe stuff. I doubt that.
Yeah, I don't know, but
That would probably ruin the experience, wouldn't it?
Again, it's sad for me. I think the last thing I'll say is that it's just a sad thing, Jay, that this game didn't stick the landing. Because as I say, this would be what we would be playing to pass the time to wait for Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6 and another Fallout game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, this game had... I think it's weird. I think it just doesn't quite... For me personally, it doesn't quite hit the mark in certain areas enough for me to not want to play it. Like, if this game was slightly different in some little areas, I'd be playing it all the time. Like, I don't like the fact with the fact that it's multiplayer doesn't it doesn't excite me. I think I get that it's like raiding and stuff, right? Like there's like bosses,
Yeah.
but that doesn't really. It's weird. Like I said it before. Like how I'm more of a single player person. Like I just prefer the single player aspect of games, RPGs like this. I don't. The multiplayer elements make me really hate it. Like you definitely can play this solo. It's just not. I don't know. I feel like that you should be able to play it more solo. I guess. There's just something I can't like. There's so many like things about Fallout 76 that make me go, "Oh, I want to play this so bad."
Yeah.
But there's so many other things that make me go, "Oh, I can't play it now because of that."
You sound like my brother. He wanted private servers to play the game. He just wants to play it alone. And then as soon as they came out with the fact that you have to pay for that, he was just like, "Nah." And I think you're the same. I think I'm the same, mate. I'm on the same page. Like, let me play the whole game with no one else in it.
Yeah.
But you have to pay for pay for that luxury.
Yeah, that's not fun.
No. So
but I get they're a business, they've got to make money somehow. So I mean, there's enough people out there that aren't me that will pay for that will fund their next project. So
And to be fair, if it is a monthly subscription, you can always just I know you could always just play the game ruthlessly for 1-2 months and then just cancel your subscription and you'd finish everything it has to offer.
Yeah, that is true. I guess that's the problem with me is obviously like I have to be in the mood for certain things, and if I pay for this month and then I play it for a day and I'm fed up, I'm like, oh god, well I've just paid for this, so can't really do anything about it.
I don't think it's that much, to be fair. I think it's only like 6, 7, 8 quid.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I feel you. So, moving on, Jay, to the second story, Anthem development update. So
I didn't hear about this. I heard about one maybe like a month or two ago, but has there been one more recently?
Yes, very recently.
Okay, good. I've kind of been following this, but I haven't seen anything. Okay, I hadn't seen anything, so I must have missed it. It must have come up on my feed and completely missed it.
15th of May. So I won't read out the whole thing, Jay. But generally speaking, I'll give you the gist, okay? The gist is Anthem has got a team of 30-ish people working on it. They're in prototype stage, and they're working for a long-term solution to solve Anthem as we speak.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, this is basically what they said again like a few months ago. They said exactly the same thing. They were like, we're, dedicating time and people and money to sort this thing out. Give us some time and we'll try and figure it out. It's weird. Like this, a lot of people saying they're beating a dead horse. They came out of the gate. That's the thing. I really enjoyed this game when it first came out, and it just there was so many things wrong with it. I was just like, oh god. If they can really fix it, then I'm happy about that. Sure. But it just kind of feels like I feel bad for them, to be honest, because there's so much sadness and I mean a lot of people do say that bad press is still good because any press is press.
Yeah.
So I think if anything, if they do end up fixing it, that people will come back to it just to make sure that they've actually fixed it. I don't know if people will pay to be able to do it again. Like if you've already bought the game, you should be able to. If you've bought the game already, then cool. But if you haven't bought the game, then it might not warrant a new purchase.
Yeah.
Have to wait and see if it's actually any good. Again, it's just one of those things where it's just wait and see, annoyingly. But how long it's going to be? Like, when is this game going to come out? Like, is it going to be an update to the game? Is it going to be a completely new release? Like, what's the situation? I imagine it'll probably be an update. I'd hope to. I'd like to think it'd be an update, like a big one.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I'll extend to your points, Jay. I think this is, unfortunately, from my point of view, a complete waste of time and resources. I think it's too late for Anthem. I think you're better off working on Dragon Age 4. I think you're better off working on Knights of the Old Republic 3, which you should be working on.
Totally forgot about those.
Yeah, I don't know if that is a thing, but it should be. And you should be working on a Mass Effect game if you would like to. Now, what I mean, let me expand. I don't know many people still playing Anthem, okay? And let's say this reboot did come out, okay? If they've got a team size of, say, 30-ish, does that mean that a reboot / update to the game will be coming out, let's say, February 2021? Does that mean in their projections that if that's worth doing, surely the next BioWare project, whether that be Dragon Age 4 or whatever, is like years away at this point? Otherwise, why would they bother rebooting Anthem?
Yeah, well, just again, it depends on how many people, how many people can get certain things done, and also because we've got Unreal 5 coming, that people want to be able to spend time making that pretty perfect.
Oh,
I actually saw something recently about how 2021 is probably going to be the worst year of gaming in like a long time
because of COVID.
A mixture because of that, and also because of this new technology coming along. Like whenever there's some sort of new tech and then a new generation, there's always that 1 year that everyone's still making something. Basically, there's always, whenever there's a new gen, there's always a year where people are still making something, or maybe even 2 years where people are still making something. So unless we have some pretty big releases that are coming out on both Xbox One and Xbox X and with PS4 and PS5, but that aren't specifically made for the next gen, then there'll be a bit of a lull in something. But I doubt it. I still think people will be making good games. It's whether they won't be they won't have been made in mind for the next gen, I think.
Yeah, and you bring up a point that I forgot, Jay. Maybe the Anthem reboot is all about the next gen, and maybe they're trying to
that's a good point too.
For next gen.
Possibly.
Yeah, good point. I think, Jay, on your point of the next gen 2021 being a slow gaming year, I do actually think we got that in 2014. Where
100%, 100%. The year after the Xbox came out and the PS4 came out. Yeah, same thing. It always happens.
Yeah, we had Shadow of Mordor, which I love, and we had Destiny, but not much else. Like in terms of
they're big, they were big games when they came out.
Yeah, exactly. They were like Game of the Year material.
So they were games that both were on. Actually, no, I think they were just on the previous generation for a long time, weren't they?
No, Shadow of Mordor released both Xbox 360, Xbox One.
Oh, okay.
Destiny did the same as well. I think.
Fair enough.
But they were some of the first,
But they obviously weren't games that were made for next gen. They were games that had been developed for previous gen, but had come out during a time when next gen was already a thing.
I believe so. Yeah. I personally think as long as I've got a killer game such as Titanfall or a single player game that lasts a long time, I don't mind the dry spell. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I mean, it's only a dry spell if you've got nothing to play, but we've got a million one things to play.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, mate, my list is smaller than ever.
Yeah.
Smaller than ever, but
I think mine's still just as big. Well, it's slightly smaller because I've got this out of the way, but
yes, correct.
Whoa, hang on.
Oh, what's up?
No, it's all right. Go.
You've got some PS5 news to talk about.
Yes. So, well, this is the thing. We actually haven't. So yeah, Sony have said that their PS5 game lineup they're going to be releasing soon. We don't actually know what it is yet, unfortunately.
Are you talking about the launch lineup?
I think it's just like they're going to be giving us almost like what Xbox did with their thing, almost like a state of play type situation. But
we're looking at a PlayStation, like, here are some actual PS5 game reveal.
Yeah, here are some games that are coming out specifically for PS5, and it's going to be sizable, is what the quote is. Soon and sizable. So hopefully within the next month, and it's going to be quite a lot of games that we're going to be seeing the titles of or trailers for or whatever, I don't know. But whatever it is, they're basically like getting us hyped up, essentially, aren't they?
Yeah. I need that. I need the console reveal. Let's just come on, man. I'm ready. I want to see the Series X big event. I want to see the PS5 big event.
I feel like I've already seen it. Like, I've seen so many pictures of what could possibly be it that most people are saying it's the one that is probably in your mind right now. I don't know.
Sure. What are your thoughts, Jay? Then on kind of, I think a PS5 event will be better than the Xbox event we saw last week or whenever that was, the week before.
I mean, there's no specific event that they're talking about. Unfortunately, it's just they're just saying they're going to show us. But whether there is going to be an event, I don't know.
Okay.
But I mean, it's coming up to I think July is usually when all the big stuff happens, like around E3 time. So they'll probably stick to their schedule.
Yeah.
But hopefully, I mean, from what of all the stuff I've seen, like news-wise, is everyone saying that Microsoft is winning the battle, as it were.
Yeah.
But are they winning the war, Nick? This is the question. Xbox seems to be winning the battle, but who's winning the war? And I guess PS5 or PlayStation, Sony are the type of people to come out, and have the last laugh, aren't they?
I'm now thinking of a great analogy, Jay. Okay. So this sounds terrible, okay, but it's meant in humour, okay.
Okay.
So Xbox has just won the Battle of Stalingrad, okay. They have countries and countries to go before they beat back Germany to Berlin.
I guess, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know if they've won the Battle of Stalingrad. They maybe had one day of victory. Like, to your point, Jay, PlayStation is dominating. Their games are way better. They have more of them. And going off from the Xbox Series X game thing we saw a couple of weeks ago, I still have no awareness or any evidence to suggest that Xbox is going to be able to catch up to PlayStation at this point.
Well, it definitely seems like a bit of tug of war, I guess. Like one person needs to be ahead, and the next one, the next, which is kind of how it always is. But I don't know. PlayStation always seems to do better for me in my head. But at the minute, I'm definitely steering more towards Microsoft.
Really?
Like at this time, I think it's more to do with the Assassin's Creed and the Cyberpunk side of things.
The fact that you can have the better version for free.
Yeah, because I'm going to get Cyberpunk before the new console comes out, more than likely.
Yeah.
Although some people are still saying that the console's coming out in late October.
Right, okay.
Although January, March, May, June, July, August, September, October. Yeah, so it'll literally be like right after. I doubt that'll be right after though.
Do you think there's any chance of the consoles coming out September, or is it too late for that?
I mean September. I mean if it's you mean too early?
So what I mean is it too late considering they haven't actually did a big reveal event for either consoles yet?
I guess so.
To give us the release date.
Definitely a good point. I mean, I think I'm just like getting way too hopeful with like things coming out early. But
sure.
I don't know. Yeah, I think Microsoft are doing a really, really good job at the minute of. But I mean, Microsoft are always the ones that come out first. It's never ever the other way around.
Yeah, and to their detriment, PlayStation are then easily able to adapt anything they can to make theirs better, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. Because whoever makes the first move loses.
Yeah.
Unless you're in a Mexican stat or like a gun duel, I guess. Like who shot first kind of situation.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Most of the time, whoever moves first loses because the second person can adapt and change their strategy to then counter whatever the first person's doing.
Yeah, 100%.
100%.
Well, it's good news. I guess we're etching more forward towards.
Hopefully, this time next week we'll have the lineup. I don't know.
That would be amazing.
They've given no date. All they've said is soon. So
if they come out and they say here are 6 to 8 games and these games will be your launch lineup for the PlayStation 5, I'll be like, well done PlayStation. That is what I wanted.
Well, we know Ghost is going to be one of those games because that's a PS4 exclusive.
Sure, but we're still a bit unclear on the backwards compatibility program for PS5. Like, they've said most PS4 games will be backwards. What does that mean? Which ones? Why?
I think that means all the ones that they know are going to make money.
Well, good point.
Again. Because the people who don't have, I reckon, the people who already have the ones that are available for backwards compatibility will play it again. But the ones who don't have those games and have always wanted to play those games, but now want to play them on a better console, can buy them for a slightly cheaper price. They'll want to do the ones of those that the people are going to know they're going to want to buy again. So
true. I think as well. I think they'll do ports for Last of Us Part 2 Ghost of Tsushima because they're so close to PS5 coming out. It makes sense.
100%. Yeah, they'll definitely do stuff for that. 100%.
Yeah. And last thing on Assassin's Creed, Jay, for the news.
You want me to say it?
It's your news story. I don't want to take it.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah. So Valhalla, I'm hearing different things. One minute I'm hearing it's going to be smaller. The next minute I'm hearing it's going to be bigger. So basically, there's like no, I guess, official thing. There was just an interview with one of the French developers because I mean most of them they're French Canada. So one of them saying that it's going to be smaller. The other one saying it's going to be bigger. So I don't really know what to.
Who does this come from, Jay? Who did the interview? Do you know?
Here we go. Right. So the actual developer is on a YouTube video. Oh no. Okay. So no, this guy just did an interview in French with the developer, and the quote is.
French YouTube, I got it. YouTuber Julian Cheesy or Cheese, I don't know. Yeah, I'm with you.
So he said in terms of range, it's probably a bit larger than Odyssey. Doesn't have exact figures, but we have not only created the whole country, which is this case England. So the entirety of England is there, which is insane. But also a good part of Norway too. So we're going to have Norway. And then he also says there are other secret worlds which I cannot speak about today.
Okay, so let's break that down, Jay.
So that basically is exactly the same as Odyssey. Like there's other bits you can go to in the DLC essentially.
Oh yeah, true.
So there's just extra, like there's different maps that you can go to, which is I'm thinking it's probably going to be about the same size, if not slightly bigger.
What do you think about England?
Well, great, and I think they're definitely going to be coming to East Anglia, by the way.
Oh, dude, the fact we're going to have all of England, and it's a dream come true.
It's pretty brilliant.
It's so, and you're a Viking. It's just a dream come true. My question is, Jay, I assume the bit of Norway and these other things they're doing have got to be sizable because I still can't, in my head, imagine England, even if it's like in the whole thing's in a game, being, and that's England, not Scotland. As far as we know, I can't imagine that being.
He could have meant Great Britain or the UK. Like it depends on what he means. I imagine just England because it was primarily England they took over. So.
How, in your head, can't you see that being really hard to match even half the scale of Odyssey?
Well, that's the thing. They obviously didn't scale it when they did. Actually, that was just a city, wasn't it? In Unity. No, that's right. So I guess it's like you could compare it to Odyssey in that obviously Athens and the size of Greece isn't going to be the same. Like, it's going to be bits like the roads in between and the mountains in between aren't going to be the same distance and size.
No, I get that. But generally speaking, like the scale of Odyssey seems hard to do that scale just for England. Do you know what I mean?
I'm guessing it actually might be slightly easier because it's a smaller country. They'll be able to spread things out more, right? Because that's just like imagine the entirety of Greece is a lot bigger than the end to end of England, but they're saying the map is the same size, if not bigger. Like that means they've been able to put more inside of a larger space than they would have done over the entirety of Greece, right?
I hope so.
Greece is mainly just landmass, massive ocean, and then lots of little oceans, right? Or lots of little islands. Versus England, which is just one massive landmass.
Well, islands, yeah.
One massive island.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean, right? So they're also talking about how the depth of the game is going to be better. So they're basically going to go like they're probably going to make things, like the story is probably and the side missions and stuff are going to be more in depth. Like they're going to be.
Is that what they meant by that?
I think so. Yeah, they were talking about the depth stuff.
And what do you think about the Secret Worlds bit? Do you think that's just DLC? Do you think that's present day?
I think what that'll mean is there'll be some sort of like Norse mythology type DLC that will make you maybe even go to what's it called? Asgard. There we go. Asgard. We'll be going to Asgard. Let's just say that.
Okay.
I'm going to call it right now. You can quote me on it. We're going to Asgard and Valhalla.
Okay.
We're going to go down the Rainbow Road.
Yeah.
on the Rainbow Bridge, whatever it is. We're going to meet. Is it Amdal, the guardian of the
Heimdall.
Heimdall? We're gonna meet Heimdall and his sword. That's going to be awesome.
It's going to be.
We're going to meet Loki. Loki's going to be there. Thor's going to be there.
Interesting.
All the Greek gods. They're all going to be there.
I think you could be right.
Norse gods. They're all going to be there, dude. That's going to be the secret world. This the DLC. I'm calling it either the first DLC or the second DLC is going to be Asgard. It has to be, doesn't it?
Okay.
It has to be.
Sure.
It can't not be.
Well, there was rumours it was Beowulf.
Oh, there is a Beowulf one, 100%.
Okay, all right, okay.
But there has to be an Asgard. There has to be. Like, who would make a Viking game like the same way that there's an Atlantis type DLC, right?
Are we going on spoilers here?
Not really.
Okay.
Like, there's an Atlantis DLC in a Greek mythology type game, so there has to be a Asgard type DLC in Valhalla. There has to be. Like, if not, then what's the point? Like, why would you even make it? Stop. Just don't release it at this point if there isn't going to be one.
True. I didn't realise Atlantis was unique to Greek mythology. I've got to be honest.
Well, yeah.
Like, that's where it came from. I didn't know that. Oh, of course, yeah.
Hello?
Fair. Yeah. Fair. Jay, couple of things. What do you think about the name Valhalla? Because I feel like we haven't talked about it.
So Valhalla, you know what Valhalla is, don't you?
Yeah, Viking Heaven, whatever.
Yeah, so it's where you go. If the only way you go to Valhalla is if you die in battle. You have to have a warrior's death.
But what I mean is, do you think it's a bit too on the nose?
No.
Okay.
Because it's almost the same as the Greek way of doing things, which is if you die in battle, you go to Elysium.
No, I mean the name.
No, I mean, I guess, like, what did you think they were going to call? I mean, I obviously didn't call this AC Elysium because that wouldn't have made sense.
No.
But what else would you have called it? Like AC Vikings? I mean,
no, I wouldn't have called it that. I probably would have called it something like.
I'm trying to think now. Like, what would another name for this be?
Yeah, no, fair point.
It's hard. Once you've heard it, you're like, well, what else could it be? You know.
Yeah.
It's hard to think about it after the fact.
On to the point of the news story, Jay. What do you think is going on with this map? Is it going to be bigger than Odyssey? Like, what do you think is going on here?
Yeah, it's hard to say, isn't it? I mean, I hope it isn't just all hearsay that they're just trying to hype us up. I think it will. I think it will be bigger and better.
Well, I don't think bigger necessarily means better, to be honest.
No, not necessarily, but I mean, it'll be just as good, hopefully. Like, if it's just as good as this, I'll be happy. Problem is, I can't have too much of an expectation on it, that's the thing. Because if I have too much of an expectation, then I won't enjoy it as much.
Yeah, agreed.
Which is partly why I think I didn't enjoy Origins as much, because I enjoyed Syndicate too much. So going from something that was that good to something that wasn't closer sort of made it not seem as good, right?
Yeah, and you've just
I'm actually a little bit worried that Valhalla is going to not, because it won't live up to the expectations of Odyssey, it might not be as good, right?
Yeah, I still see it as a case of if they can make it smaller, they can make it more concentrated, more focused. Like, I don't know if I need 50 more camps to clear out.
No, I don't think they're going to, in terms of bigger, they don't necessarily mean like size. I think they mean like same size as Odyssey, but bigger meaning like just more in depth. I think is what they're trying to go for. That's kind of what it seems like. It just means like just maybe like grander scale in terms of story, maybe like more of an Odyssey than Odyssey.
Sure.
You know what I mean? You know.
Jay, we're moving on to reactions.
Mm.
One of the main topics of the show this week is a very important state of play that we both watched. Again, it seems like all the news came out just after the show last week. Ghost of Tsushima, we've talked about it in the episode already. We haven't broken down our thoughts. We both went back and forth after the state of play last week and discussed some of our initial thoughts. So we've had some time to kind of go into what the state of play showed us about the game. So what are your thoughts on Ghost of Tsushima as of recording?
Well, I think it's going to be good. There's a very large chance of me getting it. It's difficult, really, isn't it? I am still a little bit worried it's going to be like Assassin's Creed too much, but I need to forget about that, really.
What are your overall impressions? Let's go through the basics.
Yeah.
The game looks beautiful. It's got this kind of unique paintbrush style with lots of variant Japanese colours, and they've also got a black and white version which looks awesome. It gives off Shadow of Colossus vibes to me in terms of the world. It is an open world game. It is very much a third person action open world game. You've got different approaches. You can either go samurai, which is like kind of head on, like here's my sword.
So I think I learned actually a little bit about this. I think you start out as a samurai and you actually get closer and closer to the ghost.
Okay.
I think eventually you can pick which one you'd prefer to be, but I think at some point you kind of have to do both.
Okay.
Or maybe you just like choose to transition into the other one. I'm not exactly sure on that. There's definitely some still debate around exactly how that works, I think.
And the ghost is the kind of ninja style shadow.
Is, essentially like the assassin type, ninja type, I guess is probably a better way of saying it.
And
really.
We saw I think it was 18 minutes of gameplay or something. And I think I'm not being too harsh in saying that it has all of the traditional elements of an open world game, with some unique elements. So the wind kind of blows the way you need to go, which is cool.
I guess that replaces the eagle, right?
Well, it replaces the waypoint, surely.
Well, no, I mean like where you would have had the eagle in Assassin's Creed, you've now got the wind in this, right? Like it just sort of shows you where to go. It's like another way of showing you where to go.
Sure. Yeah.
They couldn't do everything the same, so just do something.
I think they've got gameplay mechanics which aren't unique, but they've switched them to be a bit cooler in that respect. Like you see the Japanese symbols come up when you clear out a camp. You have to follow animals to nearby secret locations, and the animals look cool. Going off my initial reactions, Jay, I think it was probably more negative than positive in terms of my expectation. I don't know if I'm in I think I'm probably in the minority for this, but as soon as I saw it was a third person open world game, I was like, okay, another one. Okay, cool. And I kind of see now why Sony didn't necessarily show us a gameplay style video of that. Because I think it was actually probably more intriguing for us to see the game without those elements, because they have so many third-person open-world action games.
I'll say the mystery behind it is what led me to it in the first place. I saw it, and they didn't show any gameplay. It was just this new, Japanese-style game that just looked,
interesting.
Cool. You didn't know where it was going, but the fact that we've now had the news is sort of like both diminished and made it feel better at the same time.
Yeah.
Because there's now still there's been a mystery, but there's still not as much of one that makes you sort of more hesitant to be like, well, is this going to be good or not? I don't know now. I'm a bit
100%. I'm not convinced by the open world alone, but I think it looks well made. Sucker Punch have spent many, many years on this game, so I hope it's a good game.
So Sucker Punch have done
Infamous.
Infamous, that's the one, yeah.
Yeah,
beforehand.
Slightly before that, I think. And I think that this, for me, will come down to the story. As I said last week, I'm looking for two things. I'm looking for a great story and I'm looking for great gameplay. And you can't have one without the other. So the game can play amazing, but if I don't care about the character, I will not play it. So
Yeah, they haven't shown that off yet, though. Have they done a story?
they've done a couple of story trailers, but I didn't look at them for fear of spoilers. But I guess now I might need to look at them.
Yeah, might have to.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't think I'm buying this. I'm waiting for reviews for this. But what are your... And you've got some news here as well, Jay, that it's their biggest game yet.
Yeah, so Sucker Punch obviously did Infamous before, and they were fairly large games. I mean, they weren't like massive, but they had a fairly, they were big enough, I guess. It was like 30 hours, maybe like 20 to 30 hour game was Infamous, because I played it, but I don't know if you did.
Okay. I did not.
No, okay. Infamous 2 was a lot better, like a lot better. But yeah, if I mean, they're saying it's big, which is good for me because at the minute I'm quite into larger games. And they've also taken out, or they say they've taken out, they've not included the karma system, which they had in Infamous as well, which I'm quite glad about. Because I feel like karma sort of made some aspects of the game, it made you feel bad sometimes about making certain decisions.
Isn't that what it's supposed to do, though?
I mean, I guess, but I don't know. I don't always like that. I'm not I even found the fact there was a bounty system in Odyssey a bit iffy at times. I was like, oh, you're gonna punish me for... I guess they're punishing me for killing innocent people or whatever, right? Or like killing Athenians in Athens or whatever. But
they're punishing you for every time like there's a witness to your
crime. When there's a witness to it, exactly.
Yeah.
Which I guess made it more real, and allowed the mercenary thing to be a thing. But
yeah, and that was cool.
I don't know. I hate. That's one of the things I even hate in GTA is the police. Like, I hate the fact that I've now got to get rid of these bloody people. Like, just let me play the game. Bloody annoying.
You need boundaries though, right? Otherwise you just feel like God and it gets boring in 2 minutes,
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that's probably what they were trying to go for.
But it's interesting they haven't got a karma system, considering there is the samurai approach and the ghost approach, and it looked like you could argue, the ghost is dishonorable,
Thing is though, who's there to police the karma,
Well, no, it would just be
in Infamous because you could either do things more passively or not passively. Whereas in this, there's no real passive way of killing someone, is there? Or getting rid of them. I mean, you don't think you can even knock them out in this. You either kill them or you kill them, right?
Sure.
So there's no sort of pacifism way of doing things. Plus, you're known for being a killer, so you can't even start the game without already having a reputation.
True. I guess I meant it more as like if you approach a samurai way, you're doing it more honorably, facing your opponent's head on.
Oh yeah, I guess so. Yeah, with more of a legend around you. I don't know. You could probably have it either way because I feel like if you were a samurai, you'd probably want to be more known, but if you were a ghost, you'd probably want to be less known, right?
True.
I guess they probably could have incorporated that. Maybe your notoriety or something. But whether that'll be a thing, I doubt it. I don't know.
No. So I feel like we're kind of on the same page with this game. Like I don't know. Like I'm not.
Yeah, I think I'm so close to really loving it. I'm so close to loving it.
Okay.
But
and the Japanese dub was awesome as well.
I was gonna say I'm tempted to actually play it in Japanese, but I think as long as it had English subs, I'd probably be okay. But I think it's easier to watch an anime like that than it is to play a game like that.
True.
Because you feel like it's a lot nicer to be able to hear what they're saying and understanding it rather than... That's a pretty good argument, actually. I feel like I prefer Japanese dub and English sub when I'm watching something like that, but when I'm playing it, it might be slightly different.
Well, I feel like this is the first game we're going to have which gives us that option.
Well, unless you've
properly
played other games that also have it, but... I'd say maybe like... Because I'm pretty sure Yakuza has...
Right.
Maybe has that. I know there's a few fighting games that definitely have that, but again, they're fighting games, so there's no real story there, not really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's probably one of the larger games we're going to see that has that option. So whether people actually use it or not, I don't know. But I think it'll be fun to watch like that rather than actually like play like that, because I want to be able to understand things a bit more clearly to me.
No, yeah.
No,
that makes sense.
Again, this is one of those ones where I've always made a mistake with some games before where like I've pre-ordered a game and been like, right, I'm definitely gonna play it day one. I play it day one and I'm disappointed with it. I'm like, oh crap. So again, I might either pre-order it and just play it, or just wait a week or so until it's after, when it's out, and see some gameplay, watch some playthroughs, and see if I prefer it that way or not.
Yeah.
I have to wait and see on that one.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I'm going to wait, and we'll see what happens. So, excuse me. Oh, I'm getting hungry now. Okay. Moving on, Jay. It's debate time. It's what the people have been waiting for. It's time for the great Nintendo downfall of this show.
Well,
it's time
I think
to discuss.
Specific to us, right?
Yeah, it is.
Not
it's
sure
time
how
to
much.
a downfall for Nintendo on this show, but it's time for me and you to discuss why. I don't think you quite dislike them as much as I do, but why we dislike.
No, I'm actually. Well, I kind of want to hear why you more so than me. I think mine's going to be just one or two specific reasons why, but whether yours is a bit more in depth, I'm not sure.
Okay, so firstly, just to cover that a new Paper Mario got announced the other day. Like, who cares? So,
yeah, who does care? Like, seriously,
this is absolutely a rant, and I'm trying to articulate.
Yeah, I think it's probably definitely more of a rant than rant.
It probably is rant, but Americanized into rant.
Yeah, me too. Garbage.
Trash.
Garage.
I'm trying to articulate it in the best possible way, because people made these games and people love these games. Okay?
Yeah, there's obviously people out there who are very passionate about making these games. I think it's actually more to do with we've said before about how people who just are creative in general will make something that they know they'll enjoy, and then if anybody else enjoys it, it's a bonus, right? I think we need to kind of, I guess you can come from that of a compassionate angle. Like anyone who makes art should still have their art appreciated by someone who's willing to do so. But people who aren't willing to do so can just not play that thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. And
I guess we should just establish that we're not hating on it to hate on it. We're hating on it because we don't like it.
Yeah, exactly.
Or we're saying we don't like it just because we don't like it.
Yeah, I don't want, again, as we said before, I don't want anyone to be discouraged. You go and show me why I'm wrong.
Find out for yourself whether or not you enjoy that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. So, to give you a bit of background, I have played many Nintendo games in my life. Some of the most played ones, I imagine, are probably Pokemon. And
that's where I'm coming from, definitely.
And I have played many Zelda games. I have played a few Mario games. And I have played many GameCube games, many Wii games. Not many Switch games, not many Wii U games, and not many Nintendo 64 games. I can safely say that growing up, I really enjoyed a lot of Nintendo games. I like Pokemon Sapphire a lot. I like Billy Hatcher, even though it's absolutely absurd of a game.
Wow, that's a cool.
Who doesn't like the memory of buying a Wii and playing Wii Sports and whatever with their family, like Wii Fit? Like, it's all good stuff. Okay.
Yeah, I think most people our age definitely had that experience, didn't they?
Yeah, and it's a really nice time to think about. But as I get older, I really do believe that these games are not made for me as an adult.
No, definitely not. They're not targeted towards us at all.
And I will also say that I think Nintendo gets away with murder in terms of they get away with things that other developers don't get away with because they're Nintendo. And I will give you 100 examples of this, okay? First one. I'm not actually going to give you 100, but these come to mind, okay? How has the story of Mario evolved since its inception? I'll give you a clue.
Is there a story? I don't think there is one, right?
I'll give you a clue.
He just goes to save Peach, and that's it, right?
Hasn't got a story, okay? Right, fine. So then you're like, Nick, Mario's never needed a story. Who needs a story? I'll be like, yeah, all right, fair point. Except every other developer who ever came out with a game today or from now and said there is no story in this game, people would laugh in the streets at it. So don't give me that rubbish, okay?
Mm.
And Mario games are being released, like not in the 80s, now, with no story. So don't give me that rubbish, okay?
I mean, I feel like
Secondly,
Okay.
the new Pokemon games, tell me if I'm wrong, Jay, they don't have voice acting in them.
No, they don't. No.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Jay.
I don't think they ever have.
The original Pokemon games didn't have voice acting.
No.
So you're telling me in 20 years, Nintendo haven't done voice acting in the game? Right, okay, interesting. And again, any other game that comes out and it doesn't have voice acting, people are probably going to be a little bit weird about that, bit miffed about that, okay?
Yeah, usually when a game doesn't have voice acting, it means it's not got that big of a budget.
And that's just not true for Pokemon, am I right?
I will say Game Freak are definitely... It's weird, like, they've got a lot of money, but most of their money goes elsewhere. It doesn't really go towards Pokemon games, which is strange. I think I did actually watch a video on this. Someone made a calculation about how much money Pokemon makes across both merchandise and games.
Yeah.
The games don't actually make that much. The merchandise does make a lot, but the amount of money they put back into the games is virtually none.
Well, I mean, that explains
I
why the
don't know
game
where
is
the
so
money
bad.
goes. Is that I really don't get where it goes. Like, what does it pay for?
Both versions, but because they released two versions, they sell immensely well, millions and millions and millions of copies, right? And we're talking about two games, not just one, two games, because that's how they get you. Okay,
very true.
But,
different versions. That is how they get you.
Number 3, I think I'm on number 3. I've already lost track.
Yeah.
Number 3, has the core formula of Pokemon changed in 20 years?
It's had some tweaks, but not really. No.
Okay. Number 4,
go out, catch a thing, defeat some people. Good.
And to be fair, if you got the formula, fair enough, right?
Yeah.
Like Assassin's Creed hasn't changed that much. Yeah. Point number 4. Look at The Witcher 3, Red Dead 2, Assassin's Creed Origins, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and you look me straight dead in the eye and tell me that new Pokemon game has anything anywhere near of the open world prestige that those games have, please.
I wouldn't say near.
I would say 100 miles off, Jay.
I mean,
in terms of graphic, in terms of how alive the world feels, in terms of voice acting.
Yeah, no.
What?
Thing is, though, again, it is kind of just depending on what you want, right? If you want, I get this. You could make the same argument with why do people play Animal Crossing?
Sure.
Because that's a Nintendo game, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So like we could argue again with it's depending on the mood you're in, right? Because I have to be in a very specific mood with Pokemon, and it's definitely not the same mood in Pokemon than it is Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of have to revert my mind back a little bit and be a bit more of like a childish type thing going on.
But that's what this leads me on to my point, Jay. Nintendo has a huge bias with video games journalism, okay? And that's why we're not video game journalists. Sorry, let me rephrase that because that's wrong. Video game journalists have got a huge bias for Nintendo.
Okay.
They're, without a shadow of a doubt. Okay, we've said it time and time again. I think we did it on this show. You look at the Metacritic scores,
it must be.
But you shouldn't incorporate that when you're doing trying to be an objective, subjective review, right?
Yes, I agree, which is what's annoying as hell. Thing is, you have that anywhere. There's the amount of.
I don't think you do as much though. I don't think you do. For example, when the next Assassin's Creed comes out, there are definite fans out there, but I think the review is very much oh, it's an Assassin's Creed game, but it doesn't mean it'll be a 9 out of 10. So I'm going to be fairly open with it, right? And then I just feel like when you look at reviews for Animal Crossing, it's all 9s, it's all
Some
10s.
Yeah.
Are you really telling me that no one who reviewed this game is yeah, it's a 6? If you like it, you like it.
Out there, but there's obviously the majority usually takes over, doesn't it? That's the only thing.
I just again, point number 4 or 5, can't remember. Right, Animal Crossing. What's changed about that formula? And do you know what, Jay? Do you know what
Looks
it
slightly
is?
better than it used to, I guess.
Slightly.
Yeah, it's just more like the graphics on it are better because it was on DS originally, wasn't it? And then it moved to Switch, so
But
the graphics are just slightly better.
the graphics don't even look that great.
I want to say it's much the same gameplay wise, but it might be slightly more tweaked to be, just an improved version.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? So maybe you're thinking like, yeah, but Nick, like they don't focus on graphics, they focus on gameplay. To which point I'd say, so they spent all that time not doing voice acting, not doing graphics, doing gameplay that is pretty much the same as the last game. So please tell me what they've actually been doing. Please, someone tell me where the focus has been going.
I guess you could also make the argument for, well, if the game's done this well without voice acting, and again with Pokemon as well, then why bother doing it with it, right?
I mean, you could say that about Assassin's Creed Odyssey, right? Why make this game an RPG? It hasn't been one before.
Yeah, that's very true. I guess it would improve it to an extent, wouldn't it? But the thing is, though, that was a bit of a gamble, wasn't it? Like they didn't know it was going to do that well.
It was, but Nintendo don't make the gamble, and I'll tell you for why, Jay. Because the voice acting will be terrible.
Yeah, no, I feel like voice acting doesn't really work across the entirety of Nintendo, right? There's none in Zelda, none in Mario.
Yeah,
not
exactly.
Necessarily.
No voice acting.
It's just the sort of the noises they make, right?
What does that even?
The thing is, though, that makes sense for Nintendo, doesn't it? Because it's all kids stuff, right? Kids don't pay much attention to that crap.
And I want to emphasize that I understand that if you are part of the Nintendo audience, like they deliver on being Nintendo, and I respect that.
Yes, Nintendo are extremely Nintendo.
Exactly. However, as someone who is looking for new games to expand the industry, Nintendo for me are like a last hurdle where if I was going to recommend any game to someone who wanted to really see what games can do, Nintendo would be the last choice on my list.
And they wouldn't even be on the list.
What do they do? They don't.
They're not even on the list.
They just don't do anything that's new, and like I can already see what's going to happen. All right, I'm going to get Breath of the Wild. Like Nick, do you know how revolutionary that open world game is? Okay, firstly, I haven't played it. Secondly, from what I hear, it's got nothing in it. Okay. Thirdly, I will play it when I can afford a Switch, and I'll let you know my honest opinions.
I don't think you should,
mate. Have you played it? Have you played it?
I've played other Zelda games, and they're not that good.
Oh my god, Jay. Thank you. Point number 6. I have played Wind Waker, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask.
Yeah, I played that one.
Twilight Princess. And I can assure you, apart from Ocarina of Time, maybe, because I didn't play it when it was out, even though I kind of did, none of those games are 10 out of 10. I can assure you.
At most, they're like an 8. At most. Jay. I played Twilight Princess for like 6 hours. Do you know what I did? I had to rescue a baby from a monkey. Yeah, boring.
That's it. That's all. Like, honestly, tell me what I had to do in that game. I honestly couldn't tell you. I was just running around bashing things for 6 hours. Like, what is the point of this game? Nick, it doesn't start till 10 hours in. I don't care. I'm out. See you later. I don't care. Why should I care about Zelda? Why should I care about Link? Why should I care about this little other weird looking creature? I don't care. I don't care about any of it.
I think you would have cared if you'd played it from a very young age and enjoyed it then, right? Which again is where the nostalgia is probably one of the main factors of why these games still do well.
And all I want, Jay, is for people to admit that. That's all I want.
Yeah, I think
especially video game journalists, because I'm just so sick of 2017, I believe. Okay. I might be wrong here, but Super Mario Odyssey and Zelda came out in the same year, okay? And those were some of the only games. Maybe I'm wrong. No, maybe Super Mario Odyssey came out in 2018, actually. Could be wrong about that. Anyway.
2016. 18, yeah, it was 18, yeah, you're right.
Okay, fine. So Zelda came out in 2017, Super Mario Odyssey came out in 2018. Those were like 2 of the only games that got 10 out of 10s that year. Are you seriously telling me that you think Super Mario Odyssey is immediately better than Witcher 3, which, by the way, most video game journalists got wrong, okay? In terms of, like, they realising that how much of an absolute classic it was going to be. Are you seriously telling me that Super Mario Odyssey, the same game, pretty much as every other 3D Mario, but looks nicer, not revolutionary, looks nicer, plays kind of the same, no story, no voice acting, and you're giving it a 10 out of 10? Are you serious? Like, maybe I'm the minority in this. Maybe
weirdly, that's the thing. I think we are the minority. That's the annoying thing.
Dude. Okay. To put it in context, point number 7. I don't care. I'm using this example again. The Last of Us makes me care more about 2 video game characters that in 10 minutes than pretty much any other video game character I've ever played. Okay.
Yeah.
Nintendo haven't made me care about Link in 5 games.
I've never cared about Link.
Why should you, Jay? Why?
I don't know why I should. That's the thing. I'm very confused as to why I should.
But exactly. Nintendo don't provide any reasons for you to like Link.
I imagine there is a reason somewhere. I just don't know where it is. No idea where it is.
Neither do I, mate.
I mean, I guess if you like the aesthetic of Zelda and Mario, then go for it, I guess, right?
Sure, if you like those games, go for it. But I truly believe that those games are for kids and for nostalgia fans. I don't see what they do new. I don't see how they advance the industry in terms of storytelling, in terms of graphics, in terms of gameplay even. Maybe I'm wrong, but I truly believe that the majority of people who give these games 10s, it's just nostalgia, dude.
The thing is, will that ever die?
God, I hope so.
Like, would the nostalgia ever die? Or the fact that, I think I just figured something. Do you reckon they've released all these games the same is because they just want to keep the nostalgia going over the next 20 years?
Probably.
Right, so let's say they release a new Mario game and a new Zelda game, but then they obviously market it towards a kid. So a kid who's like 8 to 12 plays it, and they're like, "Oh, I love these Zelda games because I'm a kid, and it's all kid-like and very simple and easy." And then fast forward 20 years later, they're now 28, and they're like, "Oh, look, a new Zelda game. I remember how I used to love this when I was 8 years old. I'll keep playing this." And then they enjoy it the same. They're going to want to keep that thing going, aren't they? Just because then they're going to get money. They've got like almost like security. They've got insurance on how they're going to get their money in the future.
Sure.
They're just going to keep making nostalgic games for people. Kids who are kids now are going to be playing Zelda games 20 years from now because they're going to have that nostalgia still. Thing is, though, it's probably a lot harder for a kid between 8 and 12 now to play Zelda and Mario because there's a lot more options out there versus 20 years ago when there weren't as many options, right?
100%.
So I think Zelda and Nintendo and that entire spectrum of games is more of a product of its time than anything else. Like because there wasn't as much of an option,
they just haven't evolved.
To grow. Yeah, exactly. The evolution is different, but it's had to adapt to its surroundings, and its surroundings have changed so much. There's a lot hard. They basically have to just adapt it to make more money versus anything else.
And there are some elements that I'm undervaluing, like the music for Ocarina of Time is one of the all-time best.
I will say the music is probably one of the better things of Nintendo games. They definitely put a lot of time into that. I think most game developers nowadays put so much time into their music because that is usually what most people sort of
look for.
Audio is just as, I don't know if it's just as important as visual, but it's definitely pretty important. It helps.
Definitely,
it adds to
the games.
It's definitely a vital ingredient to the recipe that is a game. So
definitely. And like you say, Jay, I'm not sure the typical 10-year-old will play Zelda over Fortnite anymore.
No, that's the thing. Fortnite's here, so why would a kid bother? Like they're just going to smash their face into a screen with Fortnite on and go, "Oh, look at the colours," and then do nothing much else.
And I don't, I respect and admire all the love and love that these past games have, and I'm so glad that they give you so much joy. But I'm telling you now, they ain't that good.
No, not for us. Not right now. If we, I didn't get. I feel like if I had played them when I was younger, I might have a bit more of a thing for it
But we
now. But
did,
there's
Jay,
two.
right? We
I mean,
did.
we did, yeah, I guess. But like,
Like,
I wouldn't like not. I mean, I'm trying to think. The only nostalgic thing game wise I have really is Pokemon. I don't think I have much else. And I guess you could technically class Assassin's Creed as level of nostalgia because the first one came out in
yeah.
2006, 2007.
Seven.
So
Yeah,
we were
absolutely.
only what 12. Like that's the right time. Between like 8 and 14 is like nostalgia time.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And that's the thing, Jay. Like, people may be like, you haven't got any nostalgia, Nick. I'm like, I've got plenty of nostalgia for Nintendo. I had a GameCube. I played all of those Zeldas when I was like 8, 9, 10. I had a Wii. I had Pokemon. Like, the excuses aren't justifiable. Or I just want more people to recognize that there is a huge bias in the games industry for Nintendo, and to also recognize that maybe these games aren't doing that much new. And maybe we should encourage a braver Nintendo, because I think the talent's there, okay, and I think they have the Disney factor of being able to create an experience unlike any other. But I'm not a child. I don't want to play Super Mario Odyssey. Like, people are going to get offended about that. I don't care. I'm 24.
Okay.
I'm 24. I don't want to play a kid's game.
No,
And
not really.
I'm saying it is a kid's game. That is what I'm saying.
Yes,
You know what I'm saying?
I agree. I agree with you.
I don't know, dude. Do you know what? Maybe a better question would be, why should I like Nintendo? And then you'll give me loads of like, well, here's how they influenced the industry like 10, 20 years ago. And I'll be like, yeah, that's great. But what I'm saying is, why should I like Nintendo games right now? Because I don't think you could come up with a reason, genuinely.
No, probably not.
Like, why should you like Breath of the Wild? Why, like, what is there about these games that make you want to play them? Like, I assume you like the new Pokemons because they're Pokemon formula.
Yeah, pretty much. Just because of the fact there's a Pokemon game.
I don't know, man. I'd love for people to write in to contact@thegameopinion.co.uk and just tell me all the reasons why I'm wrong. I would love to discuss them, get your thoughts, get your opinions. But yeah, I think Nintendo games are overrated, and I don't play them, and I have no desire to play them. And I'm way more interested in Spider-Man 2, in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, in God of War
things
2.
that require a bit more mature of a brain, I imagine. The thing is, you're not going to get that many kids playing AC Odyssey or God of War, right?
True. I think you might get more than you think, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah, probably more than you do, just for the fact that parents probably let their kids do whatever. But
it's just, I think they're a sign, like you say, Jay. It seems like they're a relic stuck in time.
yeah, they're sort of product of their time. They did very well for a reason back in the day, but not so much now, I guess.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for enduring my rant, Jay.
Yeah, no, I think that was just like getting that out there. I think you're definitely. It sounds. I guess you could just call this whole thing like a section of a part of a bigger problem, which is the games journalism sort of has a bit of, or just journalism in general has a bit of an issue coming from a place that isn't necessarily biased or is biased. That it probably shouldn't do, and I think people have had this problem, a while, and it definitely didn't used to be that. Or it wasn't as prevalent as it is now. But the only reason we know it's prevalent now because people just want clicks and they'll say anything. They'll lie to get their thing looked at. So
yeah.
So
and
people,
even if they don't,
you're gonna get more people looking at an article that says this game's 10 out of 10 than this game's 8 out of 10.
It's true. It's true.
People are gonna be like, oh, that's the best. That must be the best version of that thing I could possibly play. I'll click on this and have a look at it. Versus, so only 8 out of 10. Probably not gonna bother.
That's a great point you make, Jay. Right? Because
I guess that obviously isn't that obviously probably wasn't the intention most of the time. I imagine it isn't.
No,
But
they've got to keep their credibility.
Do that. Like again, this is I imagine there's definitely a very small group of people or people in general across the world that ever make those types of decisions. But yeah, the fact that it happens at all is just annoying.
Yeah, and like you say, Jay, oh, it's a 10, so it must be the best version of this game, so that must be the best Mario game. Oh, it's not. Well, why is it a 10 then?
I feel like 10s definitely can be given out a bit too easily. Thing is, though, if we don't ever, where is? I guess it's like you could say it's a 10 for what it is, or for like the because I feel like not all games are in the same bracket, right? I mean, a Nintendo game isn't going to be in the same bracket as a PS4 game. It just isn't.
Yeah,
it's going to be different. It's going to be different. So I feel like you could say you couldn't even compare them. Not really.
100%, man. 100%.
Different bracket.
So. Moving on from the negative Nancy that I am, it's time for History Dip, Jay. This one's for you. I wanted to discuss.
Yeah, I was surprised actually. I enjoyed the game like a lot, but it was a while since I played it, and I think it was that long. I don't remember. I mean, it came out in 2009.
You played this game hundreds of hours, Jay.
No, I don't think I played that much. There's no way.
I'd be shocked if you didn't.
I have to check. I really don't think it was that much. It might have been like 40.
Fair. It felt like you were playing it all the time.
No. I mean, it might have seemed like it, but definitely not. I mean, I definitely enjoyed it. I kind of want to go back and still do 2. I think 3 is coming out at some point if it's not already out. But yeah, it was just like another Diablo, right? It was just like a sort of almost like a.
So we haven't said the name of the game yet, Jay. So it's Torchlight.
Yeah, Torchlight. Yeah.
So a small kind of indie kind of game released on Xbox Live Arcade back on the 360 days, and like you say, it was like a Diablo-like, wasn't it?
Yeah, very much so.
So I like, Jay, the format of asking you questions about the game, if that's all right.
Yeah,
so I think you like that as well. Mm-hmm. So what was it about this game that you liked so much?
Definitely the Diablo aspect, right? It was just, it was another dungeon crawler. I think I actually hadn't played Diablo 3 at this point. I think this actually might have been before Diablo.
I think it was.
So maybe this might have even been my introduction into Diablo, right? Or definitely one of the earlier games. I think I'd played maybe like a Baldur's Gate type thing on my dad's PC like many years before, which is that style of dungeon crawler type game. It's sort of, if you look at it, it's like I must have played one of those type of games. Which is actually why I'm kind of excited a little bit for Baldur's Gate 3. It does look kind of cool. But I think it was just like an improvement. Well, maybe because I was slightly younger. It came out between 9 and 11, so it sort of appeased more to my younger brain at the time. It was just like more cartoony, and I guess it actually kind of looked a little bit like League of Legends in terms of graphics. So that was again a kind of game I was playing around that time, maybe. Yeah, it just I don't know, RPG elements, loot drops, the usual stuff,
Addictive gameplay loot.
Addictive, yeah, the loot bin stuff. Yeah. Missions were just, kill this. But the fact there's boss battles in a game at any point just makes me happy. So.
Yeah, I played the trial a couple of years ago now, and I could totally see how you could sink so much time into that game. Mm-hmm. I completely respect it, and
honestly, it isn't that long of a game. You could probably finish it in a day or 2.
Okay.
Well, I probably more like 2 or 3, but it's fun for what it is.
I thought it had more of a special place than I suspect it does. Then for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's in there. It's probably in a similar vein to Diablo. I think Diablo probably has more of a special place for me just because of how it sort of was that transition from Torchlight to Diablo that made me love this type of game even more.
Yes.
The fact that it's just more mature. Like, my brain has sort of like become, like, again, more mature in what I visually like to take in. You know, like I said before about liking more slightly gorier stuff, or maybe like more gothic looking stuff.
Yeah.
Although I feel like I've had that type of like from a very young age. Like, I've always been into like heavier music, so anything that's like that style, that aesthetic, has always had a bit more of an appeasement to me. So Diablo was like a good fit. It was almost like Torchlight was just like another step, a milestone on towards my journey that is Diablo. So I guess it does hold a special place in that. Like the same way that Origins is like a step towards Odyssey is, I guess, the same way that Torchlight is a step towards Diablo for me.
Yeah.
It's in there. It's just maybe not as special as you'd probably think it was.
And what was it about the sequels that... So the Torchlight 2 came out fairly recently? I don't know. And then Torchlight 3 was announced and is coming out. And why are you not attracted to these sequels, Jay?
So Torchlight 2, I definitely played for a very small amount of time.
Okay.
Whether or not I will ever go, I think... I don't know, it's really hard to say why I didn't really play it. I guess maybe just not in the mood at the time. Like, I might go back to it. It's one of those ones that... Actually, it did come out. It came out only on PlayStation 4 last year, so... I think when I actually first started playing it, it might have only been on Xbox.
Torchlight 2?
Yeah. Actually, it didn't actually come out on console until last year.
Oh,
so I must have played it on PC, and that's probably why I didn't like it as much. I think I played Torchlight 1 on Xbox 360, which is probably why I liked it more.
And do you have...
So if I want to play Torchlight, I'd probably have to play it now because it just came out. So,
do you have... Just trying to get an idea of where your head's at, Jay. If Diablo 4 came out next week, would you be interested in that, or
yes?
Like, have you?
So.
So you've got that hole that needs to be filled.
Well, I've kind of filled it with Odyssey, with the fact that it's
True.
You know, all the loot stuff. I guess helped a lot. But if that was to come out, I'd be very excited about it. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Got you.
Well, actually, the fact I've seen gameplay of it and it looks good. So
yeah, true. I'm just wondering if you have that kind of loot grind hole that needs to be filled. I don't know. I feel like Torchlight's an easy answer to that.
Actually, the fact that I've just found out it came out on console, I'm actually more tempted to have a look now.
Okay.
I'm gonna Google Torchlight 3 and see if that's a thing that's coming at any point.
I do believe it is. I could be wrong, but I do believe it is.
Believe there's a website for it. Let me see if there's any. Yeah, I'm looking at a picture right now. So,
it's pretty cool that. It's
actually,
pretty cool
now looking at it, it does. It's the thing. They all look very similar. I think they're definitely slightly improved on what they've done. But yeah, I actually wouldn't mind probably going back and having a look at Torchlight 2. I might check it out later on just to see how much it costs. I think is definitely a big part of it as well.
It seems cool that this series has been able to have 3 entries. That's pretty cool. This small series.
In such a small amount of time too, because obviously Diablo had a much larger time between iterations. So
yeah, and Jay, we've kind of reached the end of the show. Thank you to all the TGO show listeners. Jay, what is it you'll be playing this week?
Well, this entire podcast I've been playing, still farming in Odyssey.
Yeah.
I'll probably do that until I don't know. I might do New Game Plus. I'll see how I feel.
Is there any room for Wolfenstein 2?
I don't think so. Not at this point.
Okay.
I think I've kind of forgotten about that at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are you grind? Yeah. What? So sorry, I know you said it at the start.
So yeah, in Odyssey, technically the best gear in the game is actually epic rather than legendary.
Okay.
Because you can't farm legendary stuff. They're sort of set, right?
Yeah.
Whereas epic stuff you can actually farm to get the exact roll of what you get on your gear.
So like a 12% assassin or whatever it is increase.
Yeah, so I think the max you can get you can get the max of everything, like plus 50% crit damage, but you can only get that at level 99, I think.
Yeah.
But you can have that on your engravings because you can buy it slightly earlier.
Okay.
So yeah, I think because I'm level 78, I'm only going to be getting the lesser versions. But I think once I upgrade them at the blacksmith, they'll then themselves sort of get to the max eventually. So
Yeah.
that's my idea, is to get the right rolls on them now, and then just to level up with them, and hopefully get to the right build and just see how it feels. I guess. I know what's going to happen is I'm going to get to the end of the build and I'll be like, oh, I'm done now. Can't really do much else.
And I know you've got the multiple loadout options in Odyssey. Do you use all 5 or however many there are?
Oh no! Weirdly, I probably should, but I just sort of stick to the one and change it while I'm on my loadout one. I actually forgot that was a thing, but I could probably use that, couldn't I? I might do that in the future. Although the build I'm going for now is actually a hybrid build, so it's actually the best of everything.
Oh, okay.
So I don't really need to do that.
Yeah, fair.
It's like one build, all warrior. It's actually like an assassination build, but it does well on everything else.
Yeah, fair.
Even on nightmare, apparently. That's what I've been told.
Nightmare difficulty.
Yeah, even on nightmare, it still does like decent. But I'm going to be playing on easy, so it doesn't really matter.
Okay, fair. Yeah. Well,
what about you? What are you doing? I actually have no idea what you're playing. Obviously, I guess you're playing Odyssey.
Yeah, I forgot to write it down. Just all Odyssey, mate. I'm actually 11 episodes into The Sopranos last season, so I've got 10 episodes left. So I'm thinking.
See, that's the thing. I've literally not deviated from this game at all.
Okay.
Like, I haven't watched a single TV show. Haven't watched a single movie. Haven't played another game. Haven't watched many YouTube videos, which I usually do.
Yeah.
Like, all I've done is put every second I have of every day into this so far. It's probably the reason why I am where I am. So I feel like if I'd been watching something, I probably would be obviously a lot further behind, but that doesn't really matter, I don't think. So
yeah, no, it's yeah, it's difficult because I'm trying to finish both, I guess. But you're right. I should probably focus on Odyssey, which I will. I'll only play Odyssey, and hopefully maybe finish The Sopranos as well. We'll see. But it's just because The Sopranos is so near the end now.
You're almost there, so that's fine.
Yeah, for me, it'll be quicker to finish The Sopranos than finish Odyssey. So.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So thank you for your time and contributions, Jay, as always, to the TGO show.
Yeah.
Did you have a good week?
Well, yeah, definitely.
Good.
Yeah, no, I'm hoping. Well, I think end of next week probably won't be as.